Chapter 8 This Guy's That Guy's. Following their successful surveillance of the Kiruna facility, Bouncer and Graham had returned to their base to plan their infiltration. After a couple of hours of toing and froing, humming and ahhing, they had not made a great deal of headway. "So we sneak in then?" asked Graham. "Yes, of course we sneak in. What else could we do?" replied Bouncer abruptly. "Well, we could put on disguises and walk in," replied Graham. "Really? And how do you suppose we do that?" asked Bouncer as he rocked back and forth, clearly thinking hard on the problem at hand. "Like this," stated Graham, who had managed to convince his nanotech somehow to take the identity of someone from the Kiruna facility he had searched the internet for earlier. "Graham, that's abso." Bouncer had no idea what on earth it was Graham was prattling on about, so he turned around and started to berate him before actually looking at him. As he looked at where Graham's voice was coming from, he got the shock of his life. Standing before he was a human being, no sight of Graham anywhere. "Graham, where are you?" Bouncer shouted around the room after his best friend before looking back at the stranger. "What have you done with Graham?" "What do you mean, Bouncer?" replied the human. "I mean, where is Graham? What have you done with him? Bring back my friend right now, or you will regret it." "I am Graham, Bouncer, it's me." Bouncer looked very closely at the person standing in front of him. "I don't understand, what have you done?" "I'm not really sure, to be honest, Bouncer. I was thinking really hard about how we could disguise ourselves in order to get into the facility, and before I knew it the nanotech just started to shimmer all over, and a few seconds later I looked like this." "You changed into a human?" asked Bouncer, barely being able to keep up for once. "Well, I think more of look like a human than actually a real human, Bouncer, but yes, that's the gist of it. Why don't you have a go?" "Can you turn back?" asked Bouncer, his trademark common sense kicking in. "I don't know, I'll give it a go," said Graham. Graham started to concentrate really hard on changing back, so hard in fact his brow started to furrow and the corners of his mouth started to pull back towards his ears. "Are you okay, Graham?" asked Bouncer, clearly concerned at what looked a lot like a human being having considerable trouble going to the toilet. "Yes, I think I'll be fine in a second, nearly there. It really is quite hard work going back the other way, you know." Graham was all over the place as he started to squirm on the spot, making the whole spectacle even more of a sight. Getting quite used to the whole scene, Bouncer started to relax and said, "I'll give you a minute." However, slowly but surely Graham was starting to find his way back into a vehicle. His facial features started to sag, finding the flat form of a Land Rover bonnet. His back rotated and flattened and broadened, becoming more pickup body-like, and about 5 minutes later he was finally back as he should be. "Ta-da, how about that?" exclaimed Graham proudly. "Told you I could do it." Bouncer rolled back a little to take the sight in. He was quietly very impressed but was in no way going to show it. Saying simply, "Do it again,"